Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 first episode of Washington Live. We're powered by KCTC, and I'm your host, Jaron Rosien. Our producer is Nick Steffens, our publisher is Matt Bryant, and we're part of the Southeast Iowa Union. If you'd like to advertise on Washington Live or any of the Washington Live channel programs, talk to Julie here at the Journal Building. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
We're a few days in. But we're going to talk about those things today on the show. We'll talk about the Shampoo Effect, which I'm going to teach Nick what this is. New Year's Eve resolutions. Are they dumb? Do you have one? Are they something that you'd like to share with us, what your resolution is? The artificial intelligence thing in the schools, some favorite foods, and just our usual kind of kickoff show where we cover some pop culture and a variety of topics. Hey, if you have a birthday shout out, and I have 9 already to give, I don't know what was happening. Well, I do know exactly what's happening, but there's 9 birthdays on my list. If you have one, put it in the chat or email washialive@gmail.com. Nicholas?
Yes?
You said things were not off to a great start today for you.
No, there's water in my basement, and I don't know if it's caused by the drain being clogged up or a leaking water heater, or if it's both. It's a leaking water heater and the drain can't drain it fast enough, but there's like a substantial amount of water
Like
in
inches,
the
or?
I would say 1.5 inches, maybe. I don't think it's quite.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And it's concentrated in the middle. It's not like the entire basement floor.
Is it a finished basement or it's concrete?
It's concrete.
So
unfinished.
that part's okay.
Yeah.
Or better.
Yeah. And then on the way, my check engine light came on, ran the codes. Apparently it's a high purge flow. And so I can't remember the name of it. It's a little tiny, like $35 part. So I'm trying to get it into Ross Auto at some point, but they're busy. But the hope is to get it done.
They are busy, and I saw they were hiring. They came in for lunch, and there was help wanted. So I think they would hire a couple people at Ross Auto to make it go faster.
Yeah, but so hopefully they can get me in later today, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. And hopefully I get home and there's no water in my basement because I left the door unlocked. Perk of living in a small town, just like, oh yeah, head on down and
Doors open. Go ahead and help.
yeah. So
I assume they had appliance repair. My oven stopped working.
Huh.
The flat top worked, the broiler worked, but the other did not. I briefly entertained the idea of replacing the elements myself, but then we have good people. Kevin at Archer TV and Appliance came over for the assist, did the testing. It was not the element. It was like the panel. So good call to not mess with. And it's like, there's a lot of electricity that goes to a stove.
yeah, well that's like the thing with the car is like I'm a doctor. I can diagnose what's wrong with my car. I'm not a surgeon. Like I should not be going in there and touching anything. I should pay someone to do that because if I do it, things are just gonna get worse.
I see. What terminology? I like it. All right, well, let's get into the police report. And then as I go through some of these, I will then clue into what the shampoo effect is, maybe after the break. If you have a New Year's Eve resolution, we'd love to hear what it is. Let's see, 113 calls for service since our last episode. 27 in the category of traffic. Lots of sex offender checks, that's 12. Disorderly conduct also clicked up a notch with 7. 6 fire calls, 5 arrest warrants, 5 suspicious activity, 5 welfare, 5 harassment, 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s in the theft, family, standby, assault, court order violations, 3 fireworks.
Yeah.
Might be a New Year's Eve situation there, not sure.
So.
3 in the animal, and then 2s and 1s in the rest of the list. You pulled a couple highlights from what I see as officers being very good Samaritans.
Yes.
There's above and beyond kindness here, although not for this first one. On South Iowa, caller reports a subject will not stop ringing the doorbell. 110, 9221 both responded, arrested for trespass. They must have been warned.
Yeah, well that's
Because we do, that's the policy and the code. Like, you have to, if someone is given a trespass arrest, they have to be given clear notice that they are not to trespass.
But like, imagine that dude in jail when they're like, "What are you in for?" And he's like, "I rang a doorbell too many times." Like doesn't give you much cred.
That's, well, if your goal is cred. Third, reports getting home from work recently and found the side door partially open. No one currently inside, although the camera shows footage of someone going inside and taking a toolbox. Report to be filed. I hope that was consensual, small town stuff, but
From the sounds of it, I don't know if it is.
Yep. Here's where things get a little weird. 3 callers report a male subject is in the roadway yelling at cars and people and throwing rocks. He is yelling, "Take me to jail." 103, 105, and 108 responded, spoke with the subject about behavior, refused medical attention, did not want to go to the hospital. All officers responded back a few minutes later to the same subject. He was transported to Walmart per his request to get to the edge of town.
So he wanted jail, settled for Walmart.
Wondered if this is the same person. We have an hour and 20 minutes later. Caller reports male subject at checkout being demanding about applying for a credit card to pay for items in his cart, which he's already opened, used, or consumed. 103, 105, 108, and 9220 all responded. Report to be filed. The county deputy gave the subject a ride to Iowa City homeless shelter.
I didn't connect the dots that they might be connected.
I didn't either until I was looking at the address and the ride too. Down the road in Waylands, a female subject left the hospital without having her IV removed, and the hospital isn't able to make contact with her. 9213 responded, made contact with the female who advised she was fine and the IV was out. It is pretty easy to pull an IV out.
That's what I was thinking, but I wouldn't want to. Don't do it though. Don't let the nurses and doctors do it.
More challenging to put the IV in. Take it out.
That's true.
Easy peasy. We have a few other days to report, and we'll get into where I see the shampoo effect clicking in. We have a report of a girlfriend's 12-year-old son out of control, throwing and breaking things, no injury. 9211 responded, did some counseling. Child calmed down, his family was provided options. An inmate was out of control. This is all on New Year's Eve. Nope, this is on New Year's Day. Report of 3 suspicious subjects on bikes near the Goodwill donation doors. We had arrests here. Boom, boom, boom. Taken to jail. Maybe they had arrest warrants out for them. And then we had a report of a 4-door sedan parked in the street near the intersection, and there were at least 2 people arguing outside of the vehicle. 108 and 103 responded. Verbal only. Parties separated. A couple more highlights for you before we go to break and or shampoo effect description. Reports parents were arguing. This is the Monday. Parents were, which a lot of people had off, because I ran errands in Iowa City. It was chaos. I thought I would avoid the chaos by going on a Monday. I was not thinking clearly.
Yeah, well, I was up in Cedar Falls still, so I kept thinking I got to be at work, and I was just super anxious because I don't know, for some reason it didn't feel like I
drive
should.
With your routine.
Yeah.
Well, busy day. Monday, parents were arguing. Mom left the residence on foot. Request a welfare check. Left 10 minutes ago. Unable to locate. Report wife left with all their personal checks. She is refusing to bring him any. Spoke with both parties. Civil matter. We had the deer hit. We had a male subject covered in mud whose vehicle got stuck south on Kiwi. That is not a great road. They were given a ride to meet with a family member, advised not to remove the vehicle until the road conditions improve. They are to call prior to removing the vehicle. Reports his neighbor continues to wake him up in the early morning hours by honking. 112 responded and spoke to the neighbor. The issue should be resolved. Domestic dispute in an apartment. Several subjects are yelling about knocking each other out. 104 responded and disregarded. There was no problem.
Things happen.
Yeah. Caller reports the house is on fire. This was sad.
Yeah.
They have started from the wood stove. People and dogs are out of the house. The cat is still inside. Washington Fire rescued 92A, Adam 58, Brighton Fire, Wayland Fire, Crawfordsville Fire, and Washington Emergency Management all responded. Fire was extinguished.
That's good.
I did see some pictures where they were trying to get some things out. I have a friend on Snapchat that's related. There's a deep freeze where their meats all survived. They were still frozen. And then they said they found the cat.
That's
the
good.
police chief said the cat was not likely survived.
Yeah.
And then on my Snap story, I saw the cat lived.
That's good. I'm glad.
I know. I just don't wish that. That's not the way to go.
Yeah.
But I'm glad most importantly, I do put the humans first.
Yes.
A couple more to report on. Vehicle in the ditch on Highway 218. White station wagon lights are still on. Bulltown towed. We have a blue car traveling the wrong way on Highway 218. They have since corrected themselves and exited onto 320th. Check the area, unable to locate. Yeah.
If they got that Ainsworth exchange, the Ainsworth.
It can be a little weird right there, right?
Because I've almost gone down the wrong. It was 3 a.m. coming back from Milwaukee, so I was tired, but I have almost gone down the wrong way there.
And we had the loose dog running on the highway. We had fireworks in the area, and that kind of concludes the rundown. So what I think was happening was some of the carryover, like the day after New Year's Day, altercations, fighting, threatening to knock each other out. I learned this shampoo effect from my friends in Des Moines. Scott and Ann were going to brunch after imbibing the evening prior and having a good time and staying in a hotel and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And when we have a mimosa or something at brunch, Ann goes, have you ever heard of the shampoo effect? And it's basically if you are consuming prior, whatever amount that may be, and then sleep and resume the next day, you might just have a little, but you're basically kind of like when you shampoo your hair. You give your hair a good shampoo, you rinse it out. Say you shampoo a second time, the suds are crazy. It's like frothy bubbles.
Oh, okay.
Like a real crazy bubble. Like the suds are just double that of the first time.
Okay.
The shampoo effect is when you resume, and according to the Urban Dictionary, a residual drug or alcohol phenomenon in which, during a period after a binge, only a small amount of the recently abused substance is needed to basically jumpstart the situation. So I'm wondering if maybe some of these altercations follow after a little shampoo effect.
Yeah, the extended weekend, New Year's Eve, is probably what caused it.
I am so happy that I could teach you something.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought it was going to be a bit more scientific.
That's pretty scientific.
You looked up Urban Dictionary.
All right. Well, I just after our, what were they called? The millennial terminology things that you gave me.
Yeah. So now I just learned something.
Exciting stuff. Hey, we should go to break, and when we come back, we'll pick up on the things that we meant to talk about: New Year's Eve or New Year's resolutions, some AI, which stands for artificial intelligence.
Yes.
In this context, not the agricultural AI, which is insemination. I taught Nick about that prior to starting the show.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff today.
Yep. And then we'll also talk about some favorite foods. We'll see you in just a minute after the break.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
Been in healthcare for many years. I know that Tammy's that person who wants to help others and take care of us. She knows the healthcare business and wants to take care of others.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Todd.
What do you call an angry carrot?
I don't know.
A steamed veggie. I don't even get that.
Welcome back to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm Jaron, that's Nick. We're going to start with our New Year conversation and our good, bad year for stuff. On the break, we were, again, brainstorming this water heater situation. I was mentioning you can shut off the water to the water. We're talking about dress shirts, and Nick is conserving water.
Yeah, because this isn't like my favorite dress shirt, but I just wanted to.
Oh, it's sharp though. It's colorful.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot, and when on camera, these patterns usually aren't good because it looks all like yeah.
Well, I wore a bright one to start the year off. Forgot about the weather though. Give us a day off, we get a little clunky, but it is 32 degrees out. My truck said 31. Couple little snowflakes. I saw a 15% chance, depending on when you watch this. Also, whenever you watch this, feel free to throw your New Year's resolution, or whether you think those are dumb, right in the chat. It doesn't have to be live. We'd love to hear about it after the fact. or during the fact. So mine, and then I'll get to the good year for. I was I didn't really have anything. But then today, as I was getting ready, I realized, it's these collagen peptides that have been recommended. Someone snagged some for me at a store, a brand that they recommend. I paid them. I Venmo'd for them. I don't know where they're at. I would like to start taking them, and I just have misplaced them. I'm hoping at my truck, because I've looked in like the kitchen, I've looked in the bathroom, thinking they were like with medicines.
Yeah.
I don't know what. No, it's a blue thing that's large. It should not be misplaced. But my goal, my New Year's resolution, is to start to find, first locate, and then start taking the collagen peptides.
I guess mine's similar. I want to start stretching more because I'm just like not.
Okay.
I'm getting old quickly. I feel like I just hurt all the time. I'm like, probably because you have zero flexibility, and that you just need to I need to get up and stretch.
You could stretch at work. This studio is fairly large.
I sometimes let's think. Sometimes I'm like, I'm really sore, and I stretch in here. I'm like, maybe if I just was proactive.
Do your colleagues notice or say anything funny?
I kind of go where you're at in the corner and just kind of so no one can see me.
There you go. Hey, a couple of carryovers from our last show on the Good Week 4, Bad Week 4, but we'll call it Good Year. Good year for active seniors. You'll like this, Nick. With a new study suggesting that the active ingredient in Viagra could lower users' risk of Alzheimer's disease by up to 70%. Researchers speculated that Viagra might have neuroprotective effects in addition to the better known one.
So yeah, you can not get Alzheimer's. You just have to be bricked up 24/7, I guess.
Bricked up. It's a good year for women. After Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Treasurer Lynn Milerva saw their signatures reproduced a new U.S. currency. The first currency in our history to not have a man's signature. Money, said Yellen, can tell us who we are, what we value, and what is possible. There you go.
That's pretty cool.
Bad year for Elon Musk, who is no longer the planet's richest person. And bad week for camouflage last week after a Polish man dressed as a Christmas tree slashed the tires of 21 cars in a warehouse parking lot. This is more of a guerrilla action than a well-prepared operation, said warehouse owner Mathieu Watral. Branches were scattered everywhere.
Huh.
Yeah, there's that.
He had a vendetta, apparently.
Yes, he did. Let's talk about the AI thing, the middle school situation you've got.
Yeah, so OpenAI is a company, and they released their new chatbot called ChatGPT.
So where am I going online? www.
So I don't know if you'll be able to use it now because you have to sign up. So I guess if you want to go
I should have prepared more.
But I did. Yeah, so I pulled up. I asked, give me a recipe for beef Wellington, and from the looks of it.
Yeah, that is a beef Wellington. It's a beef puff pastry. There's a mushroom tapenade that you put over it. That is pretty close.
Yeah, and then I did. People are worried that kids are going to use this for cheating in high school, and so I had it write an essay on Orson Welles' Citizen Kane because that was something I wrote an essay on in junior year of high school, and it actually spit out.
And will you show the screen to everyone?
Yeah, I'm showing them what it looks like. I mean, there's things like utilize a number of innovative techniques such as deep focus cinematography, which allowed multiple planes of action to be in focus, uses low angle shots to convey sense of power and grandeur, which is 100% what is in the movie. That is a good analysis of the movie.
All right, so let's try something else. I sent a picture of a double crust pot pie that I've made. Can you have it make us a recipe for a double crust pot pie?
Yes. So I'm going to go down here, click on recipe. Am I spelling it?
You're not.
Recipe for, what was it?
Double crust. Chicken. Not quite. That's not quite chicken.
Let's see.
CKEN.
Chicken pot pie.
Yeah, let's see what happens there.
And so it's going to put it in, and it's going to maybe spit out an answer.
We're on it so far. We need some flour. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, wait. They cheated on the pie crust.
2 pre-made pie crusts.
I mean, they're on it. That's what I'm seeing. So is the program showing the computer right now?
Yeah. So it's showing it, typing it out. And
interesting. I'm open to another suggestion. So is there a way to reverse look up the plagiarism for high school papers?
And so what I've noticed,
professors or teachers have a way to go in reverse.
So I've put the same prompt in multiple like different times, and it kind of spits out the same answer. And so my guess is that a teacher could put the prompt into this software and then see, oh, this exactly lines up with what the student handed in, and they could probably figure out plagiarism for there.
AI is an interesting thing to discuss because you think it was either Steven Spielberg or it was James Cameron that was on an interview on Smartless and talked about how it's a little scary to like give all of that power.
Yeah.
Or like in theory, because that AI could take over, like the movie with Will Smith, the iRobot. Yeah. And then he points out one of those phenomenons. It's kind of the same idea as like the Matrix. Like, are we in the Matrix?
Yeah.
If you don't know you're in the Matrix with the blue pill, red pill. He's like, if AI is real and already taken over, maybe they already like what's happening could already be happening according to that plan with politics or election. I mean, it's a little paranoid, and I don't believe it. Just for the record, I'm not quite. That
I'm not really a doom. I'm not like a doomer when it comes to technology, but
I'm not down that rabbit hole. But it is interesting to hear that thought.
It was really interesting. The Scientific American, like the magazine, they did an article on it where they interviewed the chatbot about regulating. So it was asking the chatbot questions about, you know, what are the pros and cons of you, basically. How should we regulate you? What should we, like, it was, and it's kind of scary to read this interview with this chatbot about itself.
So what I do is restaurants. Can we throw another one in before we go to break? And then we'll do our birthdays and some favorite foods. I have a few pictures of some favorite foods. Let's do the AI for like instructional, like how to open a restaurant.
You're going to make me spell restaurant live.
Restaurant.
Restaurant.
Uh-oh, I messed it up. Do the right click thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I think I missed a letter there.
Oh, there's how to open a restaurant. Let's click go. Let's see if it pops anything out.
All right. Are you showing this on the program?
Yep, I'm showing it, typing it all out.
You know, this is bizarre. So what is it? So they talk a lot about data. So is it just consuming so much data that it can regurgitate?
Basically. So it combs the internet for things that are out there. So maybe, you know, if you think about, if you Googled how to open a restaurant, there's probably how many articles about
it. Which I did that too. For me, it was a business plan. Like I had my ideas similar to what the program is showing here, but then
like it's still just typing.
Yeah.
We're on step 8.
Well, yeah, do a soft opening.
Like it,
What? It's freaking me out a little.
Yeah, I mean, that I tried to push its limits because they released it at the end of November, so I've had some time to mess around with it. I did have Jade ask it a chemistry question, like how to. I think she asked it to balance an equation, and I think it struggled with that because of like the formatting, or maybe it was just because so many people have been using it that the server crashed. I'm not quite sure what caused it, but it does have some limitations. And also, after I did the Orson Welles question, I asked it a bit more complex one. I asked it the effects 9/11 had on cinema, and it got like the beginning of it right, and then it just kind of started saying.
Well, what is the answer to the effects that 9/11 had on cinema?
The increase of found footage, an increase in.
What do you mean found footage? What
like
is that?
Found footage movies where it's like Blair Witch Project. I know Blair Witch came out before 9/11, but
it was kind of filmed on a camera, and it was like live.
Where it looks like someone is using a camcorder and it's shaky. That increased. Topics just became darker. There was an increase in reality television. So it's things like that, and it got I think it got the found footage part right, or maybe just got like how topics were darker, but it didn't really.
So it's not perfect. We have to really use some post-formal reasoning, I would call it, but it's pretty good at formal and basic reasoning.
Yeah.
But all right.
It's a very, very interesting thing, and a lot of people in academia are sounding the alarms.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about food. We'll wish some happy birthdays. And if you have one, please let us know. Anniversary or local event. Those are all topics that we will shout out to if you've got them for us. We'll see you on Washington Live after this break.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our communities stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
I met Tammy about 20 years ago when her daughter was in Special Olympics and I was coaching. Told me that she was into doing senior benefits. We became even closer friends. She cares about everybody, especially the seniors. So call her.
Welcome back to Washington Live, our first 2023 episode. I'm your host, Jaron Rosien. Our producer is Nick Steffens. We're going to close out the show with our birthdays and just some favorite foods because we like to talk about food.
Yep, and I'm getting the photos queued up right now.
Oh, are you? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one is that double crust pot pie that I mentioned. It is a favorite.
Do you want the
The moderation. Oh, is it not zoomed? So it goes.
There we go.
Golden brown crust is a highlight of it because it's a homemade crust that really makes this pot pie. If you want to show the picture of the other, it's a test kitchen recipe. So I use a rotisserie chicken. You don't have to like roast a full chicken, and then a little sour cream and chive on the side.
Those look pretty good.
Although my goal would be to eat less of this and more of, if you want to show the Brussels sprouts.
Yep.
I love a good roasted veggie. I do the
Brussels sprouts are an underrated veggie.
I agree. Face down, 425 degrees, roast the heck out of them, and then you flip them and you get crispy little Brussels sprout
really
like
good.
chips. The lemon thing is I've been doing recently because of the acid. So I guess when we're talking about favorite foods, roasted vegetables right up there for me, and then you can show that red meat photo if you'd like.
Yeah, let me. Here it is.
I am not shying away from that. Oh, and I think I did Brussels sprouts that day too.
Just love your Brussels sprouts.
I do, and I love a good steak. This was this pan sear method where you do hot cast iron and you flip every minute. Instead of not disturbing it, you flip it a minute, you flip it a minute, you flip it a minute, and then you get a real good crust on there and still have a nice warm pink center. Those are my favorites. Nick, what's yours?
I love a good vodka sauce. Paneola vodka is amazing.
And how would you, it's like a tomato-based sauce.
Yeah, it's basically you just
glaze.
Yeah, you basically just cook down vodka and you add some blended tomatoes to it. Obviously, there's basil and garlic and other things like that. But then it's pretty simple. I cut up some prosciutto in it and
yeah, that'd be great.
And crisp it up first. That's my my secret. So you can go out there and steal that.
So pasta, red sauce, and then your protein is a crispy prosciutto.
Yep. And then, what's it called? It's like norcina. I don't speak Italian.
All right.
But it's like a creamy white wine sauce.
The CH, the norcina.
Yeah. It's a creamy white wine sauce with Italian sausage in it. And it's what Jade and I's favorite meal that I make for the two of us.
So you are the pasta lover, yeah?
Yes,
fettuccine pasta with Italian sausage and leeks. I'm not finding the name of the sauce, but I like cream sauce.
Yeah, it's a
dairy
really good.
And meat. I mean, they're still up there, but I try to balance it with a little wine because I feel like it's like the French. It like makes it a wash. I'm not sure.
The thing with when I studied culinary arts, I discovered with Italian cooking, each culture has like their thing when it comes to their
French,
cuisine.
Italian, Asian.
With Spanish cuisines and like Latin American cuisines, everyone's like, oh, well, you can't make it good as my abuela or like my tia. And then the Italians are like, if you're not using this specific meat from this specific butcher, from this specific hog. Like, it's like the dish is, it's, just don't make it. And it's like, so it's, I think Rosien is the region that it's from, and that's why it's hard to find a good sauce for it.
I would agree. My experience is that of very particular Italian chefing.
Yes.
It is a narrow.
And then the French are like, if you're not in the borders of France, don't even think about it.
I do think that the takeaway of the abuela and the tia is pretty solid. And something that I hear over and over. Those practices and the intuition.
Yeah.
I think that's the part of cooking that is great. There's these recipes we mentioned that are so specific, but you've got to be able to pivot, right?
Yeah.
And be intuitive.
Well, it's just like, you'll add this ingredient, and they'll be like, well, that's not what my abuela does, so therefore it's not authentic, and therefore the dish is ruined. Or there'll be the opposite, where it's like, well, you need to add this, or then therefore it's not authentic. So I've run into that quite a few times.
It's been a fun show today. Hope that you've learned something. We'd love to learn what your, if you have a favorite food or recipe you'd like to share, or New Year's Eve resolution that you might like, stick that in the chat. We'll read it. And I think we have learned something today.
I've learned quite a bit today.
It's great. So many birthdays. Belated birthday to Kaylin McCain here of the Southeast Iowa Union. Happy birthday also to Becky Rich, Carrie Boyens, Kathy Greiner, Ryan Steinberg, Kirk Harmon, Heather Leiden, Sue Rich, David Kottner, and Cheryl Bowen. I also left out like 14 birthdays that are outside of the region. These are almost all regional birthdays. Carrie's in Des Moines, but everyone else is right down the road. So many birthdays today. Happy birthday to all of you. Thanks for watching Washington Live. We'll see you at our next show just around the corner.